everyone, and welcome to the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series. I'm Victoria Regan, the Global Ambassador for Arthur Murray International. And this lifestyle series is with whom I consider icons of the Arthur Murray family lifestyle, and that is Claudia Marshall and Zack Stevens. And they're here with us in person, which is very exciting. And Claudia, I know that you started something about the age of 16. 15, manager of 6 studios or something. And then you met Zack. So I'll let you start, and we're going to try and cover how many decades? Four decades. Sure. in a short period of time, but we're so thrilled to have you here.
So, sure. I started when I was 15, and I started in training class and soon turned 16, but I've been with Arthur Murray's over 44 years. And I did a lot with Pro-Am competing with students, and then I went on to manage a studio and then managed 7 studios in Southern Florida. And that's where I met my husband, Zack.
So, yes, that's where we met, in Sarasota. At that time, I was doing theater and ballet and really in a whole different world than the Arthur Murray world. And I met Claudia, and she was running 7 studios at that time. And we hit it off as friends and really had a great time. I was only going to really stay at the studio for the summer. I was off from doing dinner theater. And at the end of that time, Claudia sat down with me to lunch one day and said, "I'd really like you to consider staying in the business." And I was like, ugh. I love the business. I love what the studios were, but all of it I didn't like at that time, the way everything was run. And Claudia said, "Listen, this is a powerful business. It's a wonderful opportunity to serve people and make a difference."
I'm just gonna tune in on that, because you have 4 children that are in the business, so you're a motivational speaker and you're also a great trainer. So maybe you want to chat a bit about training the staff, how you've developed franchisees, and not only the students, but also people that come in not realizing that they can make a career in dance with Arthur Murray's.
Yeah, there's so much to our business, and I think even after this being my 44th year, it's still a never-ending story. You can still learn so much, whether it's the dancing or whether it's the business aspect or how to teach or how to serve people. And I think it starts with the heart. Once your heart is in the right place, then the words flow correctly. And the product is obviously the dancing, so we have to be great at that, but it's also knowing how to serve people. And I think that's been the greatest thing that Zack and I have built our business on and raised our children in this industry, is really knowing how to put other people first in every true meaning of the word. And when you can serve other people, it's amazing how the world changes around you.
Yeah, I mean, you go about your daily life in this wonderful business. And an example, I was teaching a couple, and 3-4 weeks into the lessons, they pulled me aside and said, "We have to tell you something." And I was like, "Is everything okay?" And they're like, "No, we really want to sit down and share something with you." I was like, okay. And it was just casual. And they said, "We want to let you know that coming to Arthur Murray's and taking dance lessons was our last-ditch effort in our marriage. It is really falling apart. We've done several years of counseling, and nothing was working. We were still fighting. It still wasn't a good marriage. And you just took us in and cared about us and made us feel good about each other and made us really look in each other's eyes and experience dancing, and that brought magic back into our marriage."
I personally have been lucky enough to be around long enough to meet all your kids, 4 of them. They're all beautiful, talented, smart, of course, DNA, and they're in the business. They all are participatory in the business. So how did you develop that? I don't think you forced them. They just grew up with it. You want to go, Zack?
Yeah, well, the amazing thing about that is we've had such a wonderful time in our career and what we've done from being teachers to being managing studios to owning our own studios.
Competitors ourselves.
And it's never anything we really thought about, but all of a sudden kids came along. And it was a whole nother dimension to the business. Now we have our children involved, and luckily our kids, when they were 5 and 6 years old, were loving dancing and competing and involved. So from that age until now, they're in their 20s and they're running our studios. It's been an amazing adventure. One of the wonderful things is that as we've gone on our adventure, we've been able to take our kids on the adventure with us.
And Nicholas became
The world champion.
world champion.
Yeah, he was the under 16 world Latin champion. Grace won the world's, it was the youth standard closed at the world's level. So yeah, it's been an exciting adventure with the kids, and they've just loved every part of it. And I think the thing that Arthur Murray's has given them, aside from a career and this great opportunity, is from a very young age, they learned how to be comfortable in their own persona. They didn't go through the awkward stage that a lot of kids that don't have dancing and the culture that we provide for them. So they had manners, and they had a class about them because of interacting with adults at a young age and knowing how to be with the dancing. I think that was a huge gift that they received, bar none.
Well, I do think you've produced a legacy. You are still, in my book, icons and have inspired, speaking of inspiration, so many people. Maybe one last question would be, for those out there interested in coming into this business that are non-dancers, is there a special quality they have to have before you would take them in and consider them? So should I let you answer that,
Sure.
Claudia?
I think it's a three-fold thing that we look for, and I call it IIF. The first I stands for integrity. So we try and find people who are of good character, because we're entrusting them with this amazing thing, and the vulnerability of our clients. So your integrity factor and your ethics are really huge, and that would be first. The second I is intelligent, because I don't think you can be successful in this business and not be smart. And there's lots of different kinds of smart. You don't have to be, have a 5 beta kappa, but you have to be smart, because there's so much to learn and continue to learn, and be able to navigate multiple concepts at one time. So you have to be smart to be successful in business in general, I think, but with our industry, I think that's important. And then energy, because this is a very physical business. And even though we've been doing it for a number of years, just like you, Vicki, I still feel very much alive and very much full of energy. And I think that's what our industry requires, especially for people that are going to be teaching, because you're on your feet a lot. But just even in general, you're going to put out a lot of energy to connect with people and to serve people. So those are the three things that we really look for.
Important. It's good for all of the audience watching. I feel energized, and you probably do. And this is our third day at Superama. So we thank you for watching, and thank you so much for finding this time. I know you're judging, and we're all busy, but I love you both, and so does everyone else.
Love you too.
Thank you.